Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here. And I'm doing a live review. I buggered up that, by the way, didn't I? Me intro, I've got me overlay over the top of the thing. Never mind. I'm doing a live review because, to be honest, I couldn't be bothered recording this and then doing all the editing and all that. And just because I've had a bad day today. Oh, you don't want to know. Anyway, so I just wanted to get this over with in a live review, in a live stream of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 2, Children of the Comet. And again, I enjoyed this episode. Shock, horror, who'd have thunk it? We're supposed to all hate Kurtzman Trek, aren't we? And we do. But I'm enjoying Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Maybe Alex isn't really involved too much. Or maybe it'll all turn bad in episode 3, we'll see. Right, so off we go. So we start off, as you can see, it does the Star Trek intro, which I think, it's like a Star Trek cinematic universe intro. And I think they're going this because they play the old Star Trek theme, and even the Star Trek Strange New Worlds theme is very original series, the Alexander Courage. And I think the re-engineering the original series. That's what I think they're doing. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. I don't really like it, but, it is what it is. Right, so we'll crack on. Right, so we start off. I forgot about this. They have a recap. I thought this was supposed to be episodic. So why are we having, last time on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, why are we having a recap? But and then it doesn't really, it's not germane, posh word, to the episode. Because it is an episodic episode. It's a standalone episode, more or less. There are some elements that carry over, like Pike's his vision of his future, which he gets wrong. He thinks he sees his death. Which is fair enough, he sees himself hideously burned and stuff like that. He thinks he sees his death, but he doesn't. And people have complained about that, saying they don't die. But it could be said that he doesn't know that. He doesn't know he doesn't die. He just sees this horrible thing happen to him, and he assumes, that word, that assumes, by the way, assumes makes an ass out of you and me. One of my ex-bosses told me that little chestnut. He assumes he dies, but he doesn't. But he don't know that he doesn't. So anyway, we'll crack on. Right, we start off. Oh, we're still doing the recap here. So I've got the video, and I'm just clicking forward a little bit, rather than play the video, and get a copyright strike, which is bad. I'm just showing images from the episode. So here we go. We start off on this planet. It's a dry, arid planet, and these are the local people, and they look up in the sky and they point and stuff, and they see a comet. We see their village. It's all like teepees and huts and stuff, so they're a primitive race. They're not technologically advanced yet. So there we go, there's one of them. They look up in the sky. See if I can. I better miss it. Because I'm clicking like that. There we go. They don't see that, obviously. They look up in the sky and they see this comet in the sky, with its lovely tail and all that, and they're all like, ooh. And then we go towards it and we see the Enterprise. See if I can get an image. Better don't. I better bugger it up. Oh, we're nearly there. Look, there's the Enterprise. Can you see it? Bit of lens flare. Oh, God. But apart from that, the effects are cool. And there she is. There's the Enterprise. I do quite like that design. As I've said before, it reminds me of an evolution from the NX01, which is fair enough. But it could do to look a little bit more like the original series Enterprise. But maybe it'll have a refit towards the end. Who knows? I doubt it, but you never know. Right, so we see the Enterprise, right, and it's studying this comet, and we get a voiceover, like a captain's log, but it's not a captain's log. It's Uhura's log, personal log, or whatever. And she says she's been invited to the captain's dinner, the captain's quarters for dinner, and she's been advised to wear her dress uniform. So she steps out of the turbo lift, Ortegas meets a Lieutenant Ortegas, the helmsman, who is obviously going to be, the LGBTQ plus IA minus question mark exclamation hashtag, whatever they've put on these days. She's going to be that representative, isn't she? You can tell. Anyway, she's there. I don't know what this thing around her neck is with the... is it a crystal or is it a little vial of liquid? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in a future episode. But there she is with a shaved head. And she's got a crop top on so we can see her belly button in a minute if I move it on. And there they are, look. What's behind that big red door? That's been the question on the social media. I don't know what's behind the big red door. But anyway, they head to the captain's quarters. But they're still waffling on. Oh my! By the way, it was a joke. It was like because she's a cadet and she's new on the ship. It was what they call it, hazing. But they still have that word in the 23rd century. I don't know why not. She's been hazed, and obviously she doesn't need to wear her dress uniform. She could have gone, in her casual clothes, her civvies. So anyway, so she says she's going to change back, and she says, no, you ain't got time, you don't want to be late for the captain's dinner. So she goes in a dress uniform. There we see it. Belly button, Star Trek belly button. Because it's a naval vessel. Oh, I'm here all week, unfortunately. Anyway, they're having a gab. We'll get there. We'll get to the captain's quarters. But I can't even remember what they talked about. But they did a lot of talking, didn't they? We haven't got there. We've got there now. Hang on. Let's get back a bit. Let's go back a bit. Come on, stupid bloody player. There we go. The captain meets her, and they're all in civvies. Apart from number one, look, she's in a uniform. Why? I don't know. Maybe she's due to go on duty. I don't know. But the captain's there in his civvies, and he sees that she's got a dress uniform on, and he understands, the joke. And they go into his quarters, and she says, they meet number one's there. And she says, "Oh, nice to see you." And she says to her, "Oh, nice to see you." And I thought, it's a bit familiar, isn't it? I thought number one was supposed to be kind of logical and almost Vulcan-like. But anyway, there we go. That's the scene where they're all. It's friendly, but a little bit awkward. Anyway, they're in the captain's massive quarters because every room on this ship is absolutely massive. That crewman there, can you see him? Oh no, you can't see him, and I can't move me viewer thing. Can I move this? Where are we? Window capture. It's that one. Can I move this so you can see who I'm on about? That man there in the red. He reminds me of, I can't remember his name. There was a crewman on the Enterprise D. Who was the one, I think it was an ensign, or it might have been a lieutenant, I can't remember. But it was the one who always had to see to guests. He put Scotty, in the episode Relics, he put Scotty, in his quarters and stuff, and I can't remember his name, but he popped up once or twice in the Enterprise, in the Next Generation. But he just reminds me of him, That's got no bearing on the episode. It just reminded me of him. And see, they're in the, by the way, they're in the uniforms. Not dress uniform, but they're in the uniforms anyway. Right, where were we? So there you go. So she's meeting the other people. Oh, and there's his, you can't see it. His open fireplace. Not a good idea on a starship. We also see there's Spock. You can just see his nose there. And there's him that reminds me of that other crew member. And over on the right-hand side that you can't see, but we'll see him in a minute, is the ENA officer. There he is. Who's called, is it Hemmer? I think it's Hemmer, isn't it? Hemmer or Hemner, I can't remember. I think it's Hemmer. Who, being an ENA, is blind and they're super amazingly telepathic. The telepathic abilities and all that, and probably their antenna as well, means, that they basically can see. They're like a Daredevil. All their other senses of, made up for him not being able to see. I'm trying to make out his... you can't see it there. Trying to make out his antenna. In the Enterprise versions of the ENA, the end of the antenna had a little rounded end, but it was like a little cutout in to differentiate them from the normal Andorians. But I can't really tell if that has. I don't think it has. So that could be a little 25% difference thing. And it does look different anyway to the ENA we saw in Enterprise. They didn't have all these massive ridges over the eyes and the cheeks and all that. Not that I remember, anyway. So we find out that he's all gruff. He's a bit gruff, and we see Spock throws a carrot at him or something from behind, and he catches it with ease. And so just to show, that he's just because he's blind, he can't see what's coming. Right. So then, by the way, I don't like this scene, because everybody's a bit too familiar, and it's very Discovery, and I don't like it, and the quarters are too big. And what's all this booze? Got this booze in the background. Are they all pissheads on the Enterprise? Looks like it, doesn't it? Or at least Captain Pike, at least he is. Oh, there's Nurse Chapel in the background. So anyway, Captain Pike tells this story about him chasing somebody with an ensign, and we're chasing somebody, and this person's pants fell down or something, or fell off, and he tripped over the person's pants, and it was all a funny story, and and Spock didn't understand why they're laughing at somebody's misfortune, and somebody says, I can't remember who says it might be Uhura who says, sometimes things get so bad, you've just got to laugh. And that comes back later in the episode. So I've got to admit, I do like what they're doing. They're having an A story and a B story, which is what we used to have in Star Trek. Back in the olden days when Star Trek were good, they had an A story and a B story. They had the main adventure, and then we usually followed a member of the crew around with their story. And it was somehow, tangentially connected to the main story. And this is what we've got here. So we've got the main story, which is the Comet, and then the B story is Uhura and her things. Right, so here we go. So we see Uhura, and they're asking her what she's going to be doing in 10 years, and she seems a bit off. Actually, she says to the captain, "Are you asking me what I want to be when I grow up?" And I thought, God, I'd clapped her in irons for insubordination, but he don't. Hang on, I've lost my thing now. There we go. He says, no, just curious as to, how she sees her career in Starfleet progressing, and she says she's not entirely sure what she wants to do in Starfleet, because she only joined. We get a bit of a backstory now about her family. She was born in Kenya. She speaks 37 languages. 22 of those are local Kenyan languages. I don't know if they'd be languages or dialects, I don't know. But she said there's 22 languages where she was born in Kenya. And she speaks 37 languages in total. And when she was a kid, I can't remember what age it said, her parents were killed in a shuttle accident, which is the thing that always seems to happen in Star Trek, doesn't it? I have a lot of shuttle accidents in Star Trek. Probably why beaming, transporting is the safest way to travel. Don't go by shuttle, because you'll die. Anyway, her parents are killed in a shuttle accident, and she goes to live with her grandmother. Her grandmother used to be in Starfleet, and so that's why Nyota Uhura decides to join Starfleet. And there we go. And she ends up being assigned to the Enterprise as a cadet. Pike says not many cadets, get put on, the Enterprise. They're like 1 or 2 a year. So she's very lucky to be there. So anyway, this reminds me. Sorry, I'm using my mouse pointing. You can't see it. Oh yes, you can. There you go. But I'm not pointing at all. It's like I'm waving my arms as I'm talking. This reminds me. This story of Uhura not really knowing what she wants to do in Starfleet. And later on, again we see it, she seems a bit nervous about going on an away mission. It reminds me of Hoshi Sato in Enterprise. At the beginning of that, she were unsure about going on the mission on the NX-01. But she eventually comes round, and obviously Uhura does that as well. But I've got to admit, it seems like a rip-off of that. It's a very super similar story. And there's something else later on when we see the Comet. There's something similar to what we've seen already in Next Generation, but we'll get to that. Right, so we'll skip on a little bit more. There we go. So we're still waffling. So basically, that's that bit. There's Spock with his massive sideburns and his slightly unkempt hair, but whatever. And his ears still don't look right to me. Leonard Nimoy's ears looked amazing and real, but for some reason these look like fake ears. They just look fake. They look like ears that you could buy in a joke shop, but whatever. That's a little nitpick. I don't remember this going on for this long, but it does. Then after the dinner, Spock talks to her in the corridor as they're walking, and he kind of berates her a little bit. See, they're going on, aren't they? There we go. He kind of berates her a little bit about her. She was being a little bit too honest, he said. Honest. There we go. I always pause on people, and they've always got peculiar expressions, haven't they? He berates her a little bit for being a little bit too honest, and he says if she's not sure what she wants to be in Starfleet, then maybe she should make way for somebody who does know what they want to do. And people have said they didn't like that, the way he spoke to her, but, as Robert Meyer Burnett says, Starfleet is always about the best of the best. It's about, the best people being on the ship, and that's all Spock wants, the best people to be on the ship. So there you go. And she's not sure if she wants to even be there. But obviously by the end of the episode, she's cool. Right, we go. There's Pike and number one, and they have a little talk about Pike and his vision. Obviously she knows about it. She talks about what happened on Boreth. He held the time crystal, and it showed him his future of him being burned by delta radiation and saving 4 or 5 kids, cadets. It saves them, but becomes horribly burned by delta radiation, ends up in a wheelchair, and all he can do is go boop, 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 yes or no. Because that's 23rd century medical technology for you. But it must have been bad. And he still thinks, as I said before at the beginning, that he sees his death. But obviously he doesn't die, and we all know that he ends up going back to Talos 4 in the episode. The Menagerie goes back to Talos 4 and basically has a happy ending, lives out the rest of his life with an imaginary, an illusion created by the Talosians in his normal body with Vina. And so there you go. But he don't know that. People have complained about that as well, saying, no, well, don't die. But Pike doesn't know that. He'll find it out in due course, in however many years. So they're going on. There we go. Oh, here we go. There's the Comet. Oh, they find out. Oh, no, this is... we'll do a little bit of play. Can we play that? This is the... There we go. You ready? Kaboom! Obviously, that's a simulation. They've found out that the Comet is on a direct course for the planet. It's going to collide with the planet in, however long. So they've got to find a way to stop it. So, obviously, I don't know what the Prime Directive should... they don't call it that in this, do they? Although they mentioned it in the last episode, but I think they're still calling it General Order 1. Should that apply? Should they... I mean, it could be argued it's the the natural evolution of the planet. If it's supposed to be hit by a comet, it's going to be hit by a comet. Even though there's intelligent life there, it's it's not technologically advanced. It's not warp. So should they just let it happen or not? But you've got to remember, this is the 23rd century. This is before the original series, before it became a bit stuffy in the next generation, and it became a bit up their ass. They were a bit looser, weren't they, with the rules back then? So I'm defending it, whatever. So they decide anyway that they're going to try and divert this comet. They can't destroy it. They're going to try and divert it. And Spock suggests they use 4 ion rockets or 4 ion engines or whatever. That they're going to connect them to the comet and do a burn, and it'll shove it to one side so it won't hit the planet. It'll miss the planet. And I think La'an suggests they launch them with torpedoes, and they'll land on the comet and they'll do its stuff, and it'll be cool. So they'll do that. Let's get to that bit. Oh, Pike says, we'll go back to, never mind. Yeah, he says that this is a cool idea and all that, and he says he loves this job and that's, yeah. I didn't like that either. I didn't like the way he said it. He sounded a bit of a nerd. But anyway, where is it? Anyway, they fire these torpedoes. Here we go. Are they going to do it? Oh, I tell you. And basically, see, it's not bloody do. Oh, it's dead hard. It's dead hard to just hit the bit that you want. They fire the torpedoes, and the comet puts up its shields. If I can show you that bit. There we go. Got there in the end. The comet puts its shields up in the sort of like what we see in Kurtzman Trek. They always seem to be made out of triangles, don't they, the shields? Even alien ones. Whatever. Another nitpick, but whatever. It is what it is. And it's shown us that the comet has shields. What sort of comet has shields? And that was Pike's weird face that we saw then. There we go. What comet has shields? And then we go into the opening credits. Kind of cool opening credits, I must admit. I do like them. And as I mentioned in another video, I'd like, with this being episodic... Oh, come on, you bloody thing. I'd like it to show the episode title, like it used to do on, the original series, Next Generation, all the other Star Treks, before 2005. They used to show the episode title, but they don't. It's called Children of the Comet, but we don't know that. You wouldn't know that if you're watching the episode. You'd have to look it up, because it doesn't tell you. Anyway, they find on this comet there's a structure. Obviously an intelligently made structure. That's not exactly a stretch, is it, since it's got shields. So they decide that they're going to go investigate. So they're going to do a landing party. They're going to beam down to the comet's surface, obviously in space suits. So it's going to be Sam Kirk is the exobiologist of the crew, and Uhura's going to beam down because she's set for it's her rotation to be on the next landing party, and Spock and La'an, they're the 4 that's going to beam down. In the Kirk era, Kirk had to beam down as well, wouldn't he? But they're not doing that. So they decide they're going to, investigate. So anyway, they're talking about it there. So they go, and she seems a bit unsure, does Uhura, and when she gets the spacesuit on, she seems even more unsure. This is Chapel's injecting them with something. I can't remember what it is. What's she injecting them with? It's something to protect them, but I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's cosmic radiation. I don't know. I can't remember. But she gives them all an injection in the temple, and it hurts. So there you go. she does a bit of banter with Spock. Obviously, this is laying the ground for, obviously she falls in love with Spock, doesn't she, in the original series? So that's just laying the foundations for that. They're getting the spacesuits on, which, are okay. They're okay. They're better than the bloody Discovery ones anyway. They're actual proper. They're not like the Discovery ones. They're all like CG and all that, weren't they? And these are just actually look like proper spacesuits. With the department colours on the front. And actually, that design there, can you see? Yeah, it does remind me of the spacesuits that they had in the original series. Obviously, they didn't look like that. They looked a bit, clunky, didn't they, in the original series? But they had that sort of shape on the front, if I remember correctly. But here's Uhura, and she's looking unsure, much like Hoshi Sato did in the episode. I can't remember the name of the episode. It's early on. What's it called? Where they find a ship full of alien dead bodies, and she freaks out. There's these aliens that are extracting all the fluids and stuff, and she freaks out. There you go. There. She's looking a bit unsure still. Anyway, so they beam down. And they find this temple is a bit, H.R. Giger-ish, isn't it? It's, and it actually reminded me a little bit when they came inside. They go inside, and they find that there's an atmosphere inside, a breathable atmosphere, but they decide not to take the helmets off. And they find this object here, which reminded me a little bit of the film Sphere. And it's got writing all over it, which Uhura says, obviously she can't translate it yet, but she notices that it's repeated. It's a repeated pattern, so it's saying the same thing over and over again. And there we go. It reminds me a bit of Sphere, maybe a bit of Event Horizon, but more Sphere. And Sam Kirk decides he's going to get closer to it, and as the step closer, it all sort of like comes to life. If we get to that bit, it all lights up. When you're ready, video. See, you go too far though. It's. No, see, I've missed it. Look, see, I've missed it. There we go. See, Sam Kirk's touching it, just like his brother. Goes in like a bull in a china shop. And there we go. It all lights up, and there's some sort of electrical discharge, and it sends Sam Kirk flying, and he actually kills him. His heart stops, and they can't beam out, because when this happens, the shields go up around the comet again. Anyway, they find out his heart stopped. They can't beam out. So luckily, the tricorder has a defibrillator mode. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. They take his helmet off. Laan says, take his helmet off. And people said, why would you do that? And we've also already established that there's a breathable atmosphere. But I thought maybe they took his helmet off, because maybe if it were an electrical discharge, maybe it turned the power off to his suit, maybe. And so he won't be able to breathe, would it? It won't be pumping oxygen around. I don't know. That's just a thought. I'm defending it again. But anyway, they take his helmet off, and they use the defibrillator mode on the tricorder, and it brings him round. It stabilises him. And they've got to find a way to beam him out. Mr. Kyle has got to find a way, and obviously he can't find a way. Then another ship appears. See, they're all worrying about what's going on. They go back to the people on the planet. They're obviously still looking up there. They're oblivious to what's going on above them, but they're still watching. I don't know why it's showing them, to be honest. Here we go. Another ship appears. Is it going to show us it? When you're ready. when you're ready. Oh, I tell you. Anyway, back on the... Anyway, another ship appears, and these aliens that you saw in the thumbnail, you see Pike talking to one. They're kind of like religious zealots, sort of. And it's their task. They've said this. They've been their task for, since that big dawn of time, to make sure they call this. They've got this, given this comet a name. I can't. It's Mahanit or something. And it's their task to make sure it does what it's supposed to do. And they say if it's Mahanit's will to hit the planet, that's what it's going to do. And nobody's got to interfere. And they see the Enterprise as interfering. So if they interfere anymore, they're going to open fire and destroy them. The people on the Enterprise crew on the Comet have to stay there because they've defiled it. So obviously, that's not good enough for Pike. Meanwhile, Uhura, she's got to try and translate the writings, and they find that the chamber walls have writings as well, or something happens when they make particular sounds. The walls resonate. Anyway, go on a bit further. There's the Enterprise following the Comet. There we go. There's the you see him, yeah. There's the alien captain. Actually, I was really impressed, I must admit. I know it's like blurry and it looks a bit peculiar, but there was something about it that I thought were really good. It's the way it talked, and the actor, whoever did the voice, did a really good job. It had a really good voice, and I just like the look of it, and it's a cool alien. So there we go. There's the communications officer, obviously, in Uhura's absence. But Uhura isn't the communications officer yet. She's just a cadet. So this is obviously... She'd be her superior, wouldn't she? She may be the main... I don't know who she is, but she may be, the communications officer of the main crew. But I don't know. Anyway, they're waffling on. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Get to a bit... Because this is where he's saying, don't interfere with the Comet, and they've got to get the crew back. Meanwhile, back on the Comet, there we go. Uhura, she learns that she doesn't really translate, but she finds that. The language is music, and of course we know Uhura can sing. We'd seen earlier on she hums to herself, and she likes to sing. Obviously we know from the original series she likes to sing, and so she works that out, and she makes... It doesn't say she translates it, but she works out the musical sounds that get the Comet to drop its shields. I don't know how she works this out, it doesn't tell us, but she does. It is what it is. So she gets the shields to go down, and they beam them out. But not just yet. The Enterprise has a cool battle with this alien ship. I don't know if I've gone past it or not. We'll see in a minute. Here we go, she's made the sound. Look, everything's reacting in the chamber. Dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee. I'm clicking on and trying to find a bit that we haven't, that I haven't mentioned. All this opens up when she makes the correct, musical noises. All this opens up, and that's when she gets it to drop the shields. Obviously, the way I'm reviewing it's just cliff notes, isn't it, basically? I'm just telling you the main points. Obviously, there's a lot of dialogue and other stuff going on. But I'm trying to get through it as quick as I can. There we go, there's the Enterprise, and it's about to do battle with, there we go, shooting, pew, pew, and it... And we're going to see, we see the Enterprise's phases, and I was really excited by this. See if I can cop for it. Because, as you know, in Kurtzman Trek, usually when you see a ship firing its phases, they're like pulse phases, like we used to see on the Defiant, sort of. Not the beam phase that we saw on, the Enterprise D and the Enterprise E. See if I can pause it. But no, we see the proper beamy phases. There we go. Hey! I've gone a bit too far, though, so let's go back a bit. If it'll let me. Oh, I'm pressing me. There we go. Come on, go back. There we go. Oh, Pete's sake. There we go. Right, you ready? Proper beamy phaser look. Hey, that's what we like to see in Star Trek, isn't it? Proper beam phasers. Proper cool. So anyway, that does the trick. And the fly. But have they got the crew back now? I can't actually remember. Have they beamed them out? Maybe they have. The find that somebody says, I can't remember who, that if they can't destroy the comet, or if they can't nudge it out of the way, maybe they can get the if it's intelligently controlled, it's got shields and everything, why can't they get it to move itself? So I thought that what they were going to do was put the Enterprise in its path so it'd move out of the way so it wouldn't destroy the Enterprise. But they don't do that. But the Enterprise still flies through all the cometary material, getting dinged about. But what they do, the alien ship's still pursuing them. They move away, but unknown to us, they'd left Spock in a shuttlecraft, in the cometary debris. And what he does, which I thought was a bit weird, I didn't really understand this bit, but because it never really explained it. There he is. There's his shuttlecraft. Oh, pardon me. He flies about over the comet, and for some reason, I don't know how, he heats up the shuttle. I don't know how. I don't understand this bit. And heating up the shuttle, I don't know, it did something, and it makes a big chunk of the comet fly off. I think maybe that's what they were hoping for. They were hoping to get some sort of sublimation, so that the comet would start, emitting a jet of whatever, water ice, and so it'd affect its flight. But that's not really what happens. But a big chunk of it does come off, and anyway, it affects the comet's trajectory, and it doesn't hit. And the big chunk of it turns out it's water ice. That goes into the atmosphere of the planet and breaks up. And we find that had so much water in it that it affects the climate of the whole planet somehow. And it starts raining. And so the planet becomes, will eventually probably become lush and green and verdant and all that. And the aliens, obviously they're none the wiser. They just think that the comet did what it was supposed to do, and it's all a miracle. And praise be to Manit, or whatever they've called it. And everything's cool. And they say, we part not as enemies or whatever, and they go the separate ways. And it's kind of nice, kind of Star Trekky. Then what? Then Uhura finds that the comet, or the temple on the comet, it sent a signal out. But before all this happened with Spock in his shuttle, it had sent a signal to the Enterprise, and she just translated it, and there we go, it's starting raining. Look on the planet, and this signal showed that the ice chunk that came off the comet, it was a diagram of that, and she said, but how could it know that precise shape of ice chunk had come off the comet? And she deduces from that, and they all do, that the comet knew what were going to happen. It knew the future, and so it knew it were never going to hit the planet. It were going to do this all along, and it needed Spock in the shuttle to do his, heating up the shuttle's whatever it heats up. And so it's a little nod to, this comet knew its future. So and it turned out okay. Pike knows his future, so is his future going to turn out okay? We know it does, but he doesn't yet. But it gives him a little bit of hope. That's how I see it, anyway. And that's basically it. That's basically the episode. Spock says that she did a good job, and he thinks she'll make a valued member of the crew. Blah blah blah. Pike, is he goes and he looks up the names, because he remembers the names of the cadets he saves. Obviously, they're still young because it's a few years off. So he looks them up. He knows the names. He looks them up, and obviously, in the whole Federation, there's only they've got unique names. I mean, one of the names is you'd think there'd be more than one person named that, but never mind. He looks them up, and that's how the episode ends. So there you go. Yep, there we go. So yeah, it wasn't a bad episode. Again, I quite enjoyed it. Let me close that. I know what we'll put on. As I there we go. Bit of warp speed. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the episode. That's 2 episodes in a row I've not really enjoyed, but quite enjoyed. The crew, I'm enjoying the crew. I like Uhura. She's nice. What can I say? And all the other cast members, do a good job. I like the aliens. I like their ship. Reminded a bit of Babylon 5. Design in the ship of the aliens. So yeah. So next week is episode 3. I hope it doesn't all go to pot. I suspect it might. I mean, we've got the Spock episode, the comedy one coming up, haven't we? Is it Spock a Mock? Oh, God. I'm dreading that one. But I suppose they can't all be good, can they? But it's got off to a good start. I've enjoyed this episode. I like where they're going with Pike. A lot of people don't like that he keeps thinking he's going to die. But, as I've said, he thinks he's going to die. We know he doesn't die, but he thinks he is. Even though he sees himself in a wheelchair, maybe he thinks, he doesn't live for much longer because of his injuries. I don't know, but anyway. The only crew member I'm not really a fan of is Rebecca Remains number 1. She's just there. She doesn't really serve a huge purpose. But, whatever. She actually reminds me of a little bit of, I forgot her name. Is it Adrian? No. Is it Adrian Palicki, whatever they're called? She's in the Orville. She plays the first officer in the Orville. She actually reminds me a bit of a... but that's it. That's the episode. So, it's 2 out of 2 for Strange New Worlds for me. I know a lot of people don't like it. But I do. And I'm not going to lie. If I say I like, if I like it, I'm going to say I like it. And I've enjoyed it so far. Obviously, there are little niggles and stuff, but I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm not going to just... I'm not going to kick it just because it's Kurtzman Trek. I mean, that's a downer, but I can't help it if I like the episodes. They're written a lot better than other Star Trek we've seen from Kurtzman. It's written a lot better than Discovery, and a lot better than Picard. They have A and B stories in each episode. Well, so far in each episode. And it's good. I'm enjoying it. So there. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. So I'll leave it there. So I'm looking forward to next week. I don't know what next week's episode is. I don't know if we've had a trailer or anything about it. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I don't know what it's called. But hopefully It's going to be good. I know episode 4 is going to have a space battle in, because I saw an article that mentions the producer, one of the producers, Henry Alonso Myers. He says he likes episode 4 because it's got a big space battle in. But this had a cool space battle in as well. So episode 4's got one in and all. And then I think after that, I think it's Spock Amok. I think that's the 5th episode. I'm not looking forward to that. But as for episode 3, I don't know what's happening there. But hopefully it'll be as good as episode 2 and episode 1. And I must admit, I liked episode 2 more than episode 1. It seemed a little bit more Star Trek-y. Even though episode 1 nearly moved me to tears. Speaking of episode 1, a lot of people didn't like that they used some January the 6th footage. You know, what happened in Washington, D.C. on January the 6th a couple of years ago. They didn't like that they used that footage and then mentioned the second Civil War. They didn't like that. But, I just saw it that they just used some stock footage of, an insurrection or a riot kicking off. So it could have been, from any time. But maybe they knew what they were doing, maybe they didn't, I don't know. But, it didn't really bother me. It was just footage of people demonstrating and people kicking off and, the police responding. So, there you go. But anyway, right, I'll leave it there. I've waffled on long enough. So it's a thumbs up from me. Not give it a score out of 10 because I don't do that. But it's a thumbs up. Episode 3's next week. Hopefully it'll be as good. So until then, wherever you are in the universe, snuffle. Look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.